700 years ago, in the quiet town of Assisi, a young man awoke from a long and severe illness. The room was still dark, the shutters barely open, and a thin line of morning light slipped through the cracks and rested gently across his face. He had survived, but something within him had changed. Outside, life had already begun. Bells had long since rung for Mass, and the streets echoed with the sounds of people at work. The world moved on, as it always had, without waiting. Each morning came the same. The door would open softly, and his mother would enter, bringing care, warmth, and quiet devotion. She would draw open the shutters, and suddenly the room would be flooded with light, bright, almost overwhelming, like life returning again and again. And so the days passed, marked only by light moving slowly across the walls, by silence, and by waiting. He would lie there, watching the sky, pale and listening to distant sounds drifting in from the streets below. Evening would come, painting the heavens in deep crimson. And yet, the beauty stirred nothing within him. Night followed, and over the distant mountains, a single star would appear, silent, distant, eternal. But this day would be different. Today, he would rise. When his mother entered, she carried not only his morning meal, but a new suit of clothes. "I have had these made for you, my Francis," she said gently. As he dressed himself, slowly and with effort, a strange weakness overtook him. "How weak I am," he whispered. Strength had left his body, and something else had left with it. With the help of a polished walking stick, he stepped once more into the world he had known. He passed through the rooms of his home, into the busy shop where merchants measured fine cloth, and coins rang brightly upon the tables. Voices welcomed him back with joy, but he stood among them as a stranger. So he went further, beyond the house, beyond the city walls, until he stood at last before the open countryside. Before him stretched vineyards, heavy with grapes, olive trees shimmering in the light. The vast and beautiful plain beneath a clear sky. It was as it had always been, and yet it was not. For the joy that once filled his heart at such a sight was gone. The beauty remained, but the delight had vanished. What once had seemed like treasure now crumbled into dust within his hands. Dust, ashes, and the quiet whisper of mortality. Everything he had once loved seemed fleeting, fragile, passing away. He stood there for a long time, gazing into the distance, as though he saw something beyond the hills, something yet to come. Slowly, he turned back toward Assisi, leaning heavily on his staff, uncertain and filled with thorns. And like many at the beginning of such a journey, his thoughts turned outward. He remembered his friends, their laughter, their joy, their love for the things of this world. How foolish they are, he thought, to love what cannot last. But he did not yet understand that this emptiness within him, was not an end, but the beginning of a fire that would one day set his soul ablaze.